Hey, how's it going? Oh, my upstairs neighbors, they're kind of uh anyways, it is Monday night. Sorry, there was a little thing. It's Monday night, November 30th in the year 2020. It's 9:01 p.m. 9:01 makes me think of Vermont. I do that a lot when I see the time. I'll see the time and then I'll think, oh, that's the zip code. I see 619 a lot. So I'm like, oh, San Diego. That's one of the numbers I see most frequently. I think, oh, Juneteenth and San Diego. Um, but anyways, my name's Jarrett Earl Casey, and I'm here at my apartment in Midvale, Utah. I've been just spending a little bit of time after work today. I went and got a haircut, um, and got a few groceries and some kitty litter. And now I'm making some salmon and tater tots for dinner. I had a good day today. I woke up at 5, went to the gym, and worked out my back. I put my little MyZone belt on, but it kept restarting. So, whenever the phone would, anyways, it's not the best technology, but I'll just try better tomorrow. So, in any case, I had a fairly good day at work today, although I was going off in my head a lot about. We were talking a little bit about the mind of God and why we're here. Some girl asked, well, then why are we here if we're not here to be tried and tested or to prove ourselves as no longer sinners worthy of punishment, but instead as people who are faithful and adherent to kind of some strict laws that will give us the kingdom of heaven. So I tried to explain extension. When God extends, he extends himself wholly and completely into that extension. So he fully and wholly exists into whatever he extended himself into. And that's also how he practices creation. So whenever there's a new creation, he extends himself wholly and completely into that creation. So that creation is now just an extension of God. And so I tried to say, God created the mind, right? The mind of God, and he extended himself wholly and completely into that mind. And then that mind fell asleep. Or part of that mind fell asleep, right? And having only known being in the presence of God for the entirety of its awareness, falling asleep now makes the mind think, oh, something's changed, right? I was awake and now I'm asleep. And so my understanding has changed. I was awake, I was with God, I was in the presence of God, and now I'm asleep. I must be separate from God. And so that introduces what's called duality, is the idea that we can ever be separate from God, right? Because we always exist with God. That's our true existence. That's our reality, is being in his presence. And we're safe at home in eternity with him always. That has never changed. It's just our awareness when we fell asleep was removed from that and brought into this other place where we thought, oh my gosh, where are we? We're separate. We're separate from God. And that introduced that one tiny mad little idea, introduced fear, to think, oh my gosh, I'm not in the presence of God, and that makes me fearful. Was I set aside? Was I cast out? Was I did I upset God? Is he angry with me? Is he going to punish me for for not, or am I being punished, right? All these thoughts that are associated with the fear of being separate from God. And so the mind, being innately creative, and it always has been, after falling asleep and believing that it could ever be separate from God and experiencing fear from that belief, continued in its ability to create, although now it starts to what's called miscreate. Because everything it's creating out of that fear isn't true or real part of creation, because it's not of God if it's coming from fear. And so that gives us the world we live in today, all of our understandings. Now, that doesn't mean that everything that we live in here, that's part of this miscreation or this illusion or of this dream that we live in while we sleep, doesn't mean it's all based out of fear. It doesn't mean it's all bad. There's so much here that references our true existence, that can absolutely be upheld or transformed. But there is a lot here that's not of God, or could never be upheld or even transformed into something that could be part of a real existence. And so all of that fear, which is basically the world, just fear, sin, judgment, punishment, suffering, all of these things, anger, guilt, all of these things are not of God. And so they could never be upheld and they could never be transformed. Now, we all experience those things sometimes. That doesn't mean that we can't be upheld or we can't be transformed. It just means that that part of us needs to be healed, it needs to be forgiven, and the part of us that's real, the part of us that's love, that's hope, that's joy, that's comfort, that's blessing, that's healing, right, which is who we really are, that part of us is upheld and transformed. And so there you are, right there, right? If you have a body while you're here, if you have an awareness, right? That's who you are. You are hope, your joy, your light, your love, your healing. You can and will be upheld, right? You can and will be transformed. You can be healed. So no matter how much you seem to experience upset or suffering or anger or confusion or fear, you will be upheld. You're part of God's perfect creation. You're as real can be. You're as holy can be. You could never be separate from God. You are eternal. He loves you so much. And even if you seem to really struggle with those things, and we all do, right? That's okay. Remember who you truly are, okay, and where you come from, which is heaven. And that those parts of you are just coming up for healing. We've all had a long path here before us, and there's a lot going on in the world. And there's a lot going on in our lives. We have a lot to do. We've got jobs, we've got families, there's a pandemic, the coronavirus, or COVID-19 it's called, going around. And there's stress of finances, of trying to be good enough. There's the fear of being alone or of being separate, right? And we're all juggling with this. And so it's okay to be patient with and compassionate with yourself and with others who seem to be struggling with this right now, to offer them love and light and joy, to go to them and hug them, embrace them, tell them the truth of who they are, remind them, whatever that is, that's okay to do, and just know that we're all upheld and we're all forgiven. We're all part of God's perfect creation, and that will never change. What changes is our understanding of who we are and who each other are, right? Because there's still some of us that think, oh, okay, well, these people are part of God's perfect creation or the kingdom of heaven, and these people aren't. And so it's a journey for us all to come to the understanding that actually, we're all part of God's perfect creation, and we're all part of the kingdom of heaven, and that will never change. What changes is our understanding of one another and our willingness to see each other more truly and more clearly and offer each other forgiveness and healing and comfort and blessing. Um, so anyways, the mind, I was telling them, so this miscreation, as we heal our mind, as we use our mind to bless one another, as we cleanse our mind or purify our mind, and that means to just let go of all of the attack or blame or shame or guilt, which I'm experiencing a lot right now. So I'm definitely needing healing and help in doing that. I feel isolated. I feel lost and confused. I feel separate. And I know that's not true in reality, in eternity, or in my eternal existence. And I know it's not even true here. There are people around and I get to see people. But I do still encounter that messaging. And there's some subtext to my life here that suggests that. And so I'm seeming to struggle with that. And so I also need help. But that doesn't mean that I can't help people while I'm here, even as I seem to struggle. And I know that we're all one and we're all in this together, and that I am inherently valuable and I have worth and I have great gifts and blessings to offer the world and to experience for myself. And so that carries me through, although even today I really struggled with even wanting to be alive right here, right now. Some people have suggested just minutes ago that that I might be kept separate my whole life because of who I am, or because I didn't get good enough soon enough, or sorry, I'm putting that in the um, or that my place in heaven, or even my place here on earth, could be just given to someone else that's more acceptable. Um, and I flatly reject that, of course, right? But I would reject that for anyone. So even if you said that my mother or my best friend or even a world leader or a beautiful person living across the world was not good enough, and that they were going to lose their place in heaven, and somebody was just going to replace them and replace them here on earth, I would flatly reject that. I would say that that's a falsehood, and that it's very concerning that some people believe that that's something that they can and should or will or have been called to do. And I'm not calling anyone out here in particular, but um, so that's kind of where I come from. But oh yeah, we were talking about the mind of God. So I just said, so we're here. So she said, why are we here? And I said, well, we're here um, to remember who we are, to wake up to our true reality, and to recognize that we're all one. We're all part of the same mind, which is the mind of God. Although, as we seem to be in conflict or going back and forth between love and fear, which is the ego mind, that we kind of experience this, in one moment I'm like, oh, I feel the spirit, I'm overjoyed, I'm so hopeful, I just feel so much truth flowing through me in my experience here. And then maybe the next day or even later that day, oh, I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm judging someone, I'm trying to place blame, I feel shamed about something that I did. And so that's the ego mind. And I just said, we're here to practice, 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 and help, 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 extend that helping hand, give affirming, loving messages, use inspired and honest and direct and clear communication to help each other be more in this mind of God, in this miracle mind, in this right mind, in this loving mind, in this peaceful mind, more and more often. And so that's why we're here. We're not here to be to go through a bunch of tests. I know that that does happen, right? Because that's the world we've built to somehow offer to God, is a world of tests and trials. And so we can grow through those tests and trials and we can take good from them, but that's not what this world is for, and it's not why we're here. We're not here to be tested or to undergo any trials. We're here to lift one another up, to be loving and joyous and free. We're here to remember who we are and to offer that to the entire world and to all of creation. And we're here to heal and bless and comfort this scared, fearful mind of the ego as we bring it into perfect alignment with the mind of God and watch our world and our lives, our bodies, our planets all be transformed in that process. And so it is, right? But that's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're here because at some point, however seemingly long ago in time, we fell asleep at the wheel and we got scared and we thought we could be separate from God, and we still experience that today. So it's important that we move away from the messaging that if you don't do this or if you don't do that, you're going to be cast out or you're going to be left behind in a state of hopelessness, of never being able to get home. It's just simply not true. What is true is that there's always hope and that it's never too late and that God loves you so much and that we're here for one another, and that the message that we're to send is that you are also called home. You are also called to awaken to a higher reality, to a higher purpose, to a more real and loving world and messaging and environment, and purpose, because it is yours. A higher love is yours. You carry it with you always. It will never leave you. And so that's kind of my belief of why we're here. And I know that's different than some people, and I'm okay with that because I think that even if you believe in these two different realities, right, you're either going to go to heaven or you're going to go to hell or outer darkness or whatever it is, that the focus remain on heaven. And even if you're still struggling in a judgment where you think someone's not good enough for heaven for whatever reason or whatever teaching that you subscribe to, that you just allow that, you just give that up to the Holy Spirit, is what I should say. And you just believe in them anyways, and you just believe in heaven and believe in the power of forgiveness and charity and true sight and vision and oneness, and love. And when I say charity here, charity is defined as the ability to look forward through time in any direction and see someone's accomplishments and bring the benefits or value or recognition of those accomplishments through time to the now moment and offer them to that person. So you can say, hey, I see right now you really seem to be struggling, but I see you more truly as Christ does, because I can see that through time you are a truly amazing and wonderful person. And so I'm willing to see you as that person right now. And so I'm offering you charity. It's not pity, but that's a form of charity. It's a higher form of charity. You can say, I think I see you more truly. I see past this struggle you're in right now, and I see you how Christ does. And so I'm gonna offer you the benefits of that sight now. Um, because I'm one with you and because it lifts you up and that lifts me up. And of course, I'm getting like a million messages on my phone right now. Oh, it's my mom. One sec. I wonder why it rings that way. I'll put it right here. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, sorry. I just I forgot that. I mean, I was talking to her and then I forgot that we've been talking. So, so what's up?
Oh, not much. I got the tree up. I haven't decorated it yet, but
Oh, cute. We need to get a tree skirt up.
a lot of things. I just
Yeah.
got the branches straightened out and the lights turned on. They need to be adjusted and all the other stuff. I'll work on that tomorrow.
Cool.
But I did that. So
awesome.
No, I just wanted to finish, so we finished for the evening because I'm going to go to bed soon, and just say howdy and hope you had a good day. And I did. I had a pretty good day.
Good. Yeah. I love you so much.
I love you too. So I'm going to be seeing you tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go to bed so I can get up and do things. Take your dad to his physical therapy appointment, and work on this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll help if you want tomorrow night when I come up. I can help decorate and some stuff too. So.
Sure. Well, I mean, I just want to get the lights straightened out, and I really don't want to decorate it with anything else until I get that done. So.
Okay.
And I prefer to do it at night, but I've already done what I'm going to do tonight. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, yeah. So I was just sitting here admiring it, thinking I should call you. Yeah. Counting my blessings today.
Well, we have so many of them.
Good.
But
even the escalations I had to take today weren't bad, so I was surprised. But go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I just I was thinking how I'm really seeming to fail in remembering my blessings or counting them or being more in an attitude of gratitude lately because of this whole environment that we find ourselves in. But I do remember that we have so many blessings, and I am very grateful for them. And I was just thinking about how that may make it seem like I'm not good enough to live in this world, but I hope that there's a more true.
You're so good enough. You are.
Okay. Well, thank you. I hate this because I feel like I don't hate this. I see there it is, that negativity. I'm really struggling with knowing that I guess I don't know how to say it. So I just am praying for a higher and better response to the world that we're in.
It's okay. It's okay. And that's what I feel like kind of happened today.
Perfect.
It's just that even though I wigged out on work, well, I had a reason, but so I have 2 days off. Oh, well, that's cool. I'm back to work on Thursday, and everything went okay with Alden, and you're okay, and your dad's okay, and that makes everything good,
Yeah.
And I did one Christmas card today. I'm almost done with the Christmas cards. I bought your dad his Christmas present.
Oh, good.
Having it shipped.
What'd you get him?
So I'm really I'm really almost done Christmas. Just a few little things and get everything wrapped and we're good. So I'm very excited about that. So, yeah. And, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Nice to get the living room cleaned up
Yeah.
tomorrow night if get things done. I also have the little tree downstairs because I'm going to put a little tree downstairs by the sewing machine. So Alden has a little tree to walk by. So there's a few decorations
That'll
down
be
there.
nice. Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah. I bought that and I bought some lights for it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well,
So, okay. So did your talk with Diane go okay? Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see. She said
All
when I
right.
get an offer to let her know and we can go over it. So.
All right. Okay. Well, then I'm gonna let you go because I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. You have a good rest of your evening. Tomorrow morning you go to the gym, right? Yeah. So you have good gym and good work, and come home and we'll get to hang out. Okay.
I love you.
Okay. All right. So I love you very much.
I love you very much too. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
You have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Okay. Sorry. Well, you just kind of glimpse into call with my mom. Sorry, oh my goodness. My neighbor, it's all burning. It's already been 14 minutes. He just walks around a lot. So I find myself constantly needing to apologize for feeling like for feeling frustrated at the lack of response to what's going on in the world by the government and I guess the lack of honest communication from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who I thought would be more truthful in their approach to preparing for what's next in the development of humankind. And so I keep finding criticisms in my mind. And so I'm trying to constantly forgive those and apologize because I think they're just such a beautiful, wonderful people. And I love them so much. I just am having trouble understanding why there's been no communication about awakening or what's going on actually right now in the world. Because I'm like, I guess maybe the government is silencing them. And I just kept thinking, okay, we'll just walk right past the government because they can't silence you like that. And now I'm like, well, maybe they've chosen silence. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. We all know that. I just don't know. It makes me want to kill myself. Which I'm not going to do. And I don't actually want to do that. Although every time I think it, I can hear someone in my head say, yes, please. Which is really frustrating. But I'm just really struggling. But I just keep waking up knowing, okay, well, I'm here. I have a purpose. At some point, maybe someone will tell me they can hear me. Hopefully that someone will love me and support me. Help me understand why I have this gift. I know it's certainly not just to come here and jump through a bunch of hoops and pray that I'm good enough. One guy keeps telling me my spiritual contract this or that. What the hell are you talking about? No such thing as a spiritual contract. You made it up. And I keep having all these memories of being a kid in the before life or something. And them asking me all these questions that have ended up being key points to what's going on. Like half of it was my idea. And now they're not even talking to me. Which is really frustrating. I'm like, all the stuff that goes wrong, you want to blame on me, even though I was a kid. Or you want to blame on me, but when we talk about it, I'm like, that's not what I meant by that. That's not what that was for at all. I can't believe that's what you're doing with that or that. And then other things there, I'm like, why did you even ask me that question? They kept wanting to know, well, what's your plan for this type of person? And what's your plan for this type of person? And bringing up like all the worst types of people in the world and trying to get me to come up with something to include them and have it be safe. And I'm like, okay. I'm like literally a kid when they're doing this. And now they want to blame it all on me. And then all the good stuff, like offering spiritual protections to make every man, woman, and child safe on the planet, they're holding back and trying to monetize it. Only give it to certain people. I'm like, that's literally to keep every single man, woman, and child on the planet safe. And someone goes, well, what about the bad people? I go, okay, well, you make them safe, which means everyone's safe. And I understand they might still want to be bad people, but if everyone's safe, it's going to make it a lot harder for them to be bad people. Might force them into a life of honesty. So you just extend the protections to the whole planet at the same time. You don't try to monetize it. You just do it. It doesn't matter if someone deserves it or not, because now everyone's safe. And then we can go around and talk about, okay, well, this person had done this or this person had done that. But the nice thing is everyone's safe. I'm saying, oh, we'd love to do it, but they're not good enough. And we're going to do these people first. And these people will never be safe. But just make everyone safe. Just do it. It's very simple. I just don't understand. Anyways, you can chalk this part of the conversation up to crazy talk. Because that's the thing. If nobody ever talks to you about something, then if you ever talk about it, you sound crazy. And I guess that's fine with me. That's what the world's decided. All right. I mean, not really. It's not really fine with me, but it's out of my hands. I was just a child. And now I'm an adult, and no one will talk to me. So, chapter 10, the idols of sickness. 3, the God of sickness. You have not attacked God, and you do love him. Can you change your reality? No one can will to destroy himself. When you think you are attacking yourself, it is a sure sign that you hate what you think you are. And this, and only this, can be attacked by you. What you think you are can be very hateful. And what this strange image makes you do can be very destructive. Yet the destruction is no more real than the image, although those who make idols do worship them. The idols are nothing, but their worshippers are the sons of God in sickness. God would have them released from their sickness and returned to his mind. He will not limit your power to help them because he has given it to you. Do not be afraid of it because it is your salvation. What comforter can there be for the sick children of God except his power through you? Remember that it does not matter where in the sonship he is accepted. He is always accepted for all. And when your mind receives him, the remembrance of him awakens throughout the sonship. Heal your brothers simply by accepting God for them. Your minds are not separate, and God has only one channel for healing because he has but one Son. God's remaining communication link with all his children joins them together and them to him. To be aware of this is to heal them because it is the awareness that no one is separate, and so no one is sick. To believe that a son of God can be sick is to believe that part of God can suffer. Love cannot suffer because it cannot attack. The remembrance of love therefore brings invulnerability with it. Do not side with sickness in the presence of a son of God, even if he believes in it. For your acceptance of God in him acknowledges the love of God he has forgotten. Your recognition of him as part of God reminds him the truth about himself, which he is denying. Would you strengthen his denial of God and thus lose sight of yourself? Or would you remind him of his wholeness and remember your Creator with him? To believe a son of God is sick is to worship the same idol he does. God created love, not idolatry. All forms of idolatry are caricatures of creation, taught by sick minds too divided to know that creation shares power and never usurps it. Sickness is idolatry because it is the belief that power can be taken from you. Yet this is impossible because you are part of God, who is all power. A sick God must be an idol, made in the image of what its maker thinks he is. And that is exactly what the ego does perceive in a son of God, a sick God, self-created, self-sufficient, very vicious, and very vulnerable. Is this the idol you would worship? Is this the image you would be vigilant to save? Are you really afraid of losing this? Look calmly at the logical conclusion of the ego's thought system and judge whether its offering is really what you want, for this is what it offers you. To obtain this, you are willing to attack the divinity of your brothers and thus lose sight of yours. And you are willing to keep it hidden, to protect an idol you think will save you from the dangers for which it stands, but which do not exist. There are no idolaters in the kingdom, but there is a great appreciation for everything that God created because of the calm knowledge that each one is part of Him. God's Son knows no idols, but He does know His Father. Health in this world is the counterpart of value in heaven. It is not my merit that I contribute to you, but my love, for you do not value yourself. When you do not value yourself, you become sick, but my value of you can heal you, because the value of God's Son is one. When I said, my peace I give unto you, I meant it. Peace comes from God through me to you. It is for you, although you may not ask for it. When a brother is sick, it is because he is not asking for peace and therefore does not know he has it. The acceptance of peace is the denial of illusion, and sickness is an illusion. Yet every son of God has the power to deny illusions anywhere in the kingdom, merely by denying them completely in himself. I can heal you because I know you. I know your value for you, and it is this value that makes you whole. A whole mind is not idolatrous and does not know of conflicting laws. I will heal you merely because I have only one message, and it is true. Your faith in it will make you whole when you have faith in me. I do not bring God's message with deception, and you will learn this as you learn that you always receive as much as you accept. You could accept peace now for everyone and offer them perfect freedom from all illusions because you heard his voice. But have no other gods before him, or you will not hear. God is not jealous of the gods you make, but you are. You would save them and serve them because you believe that they made you. You think they are your father because you are projecting onto them the fearful fact that you made them to replace God. Yet when they seem to speak to you, remember that nothing can replace God, and whatever replacements you have attempted are nothing. Very simply, then, you may believe you are afraid of nothingness, but you are really afraid of nothing. And in that awareness, you are healed. You will hear the God you listen to. You made the God of sickness, and by making him, you made yourself able to hear him. Yet you did not create him, because he is not the will of the Father. He is therefore not eternal, and will be unmade for you the instant you signify your willingness to accept only the eternal. Eternal. If God is but one Son, there is but one God. You share reality with him, because reality is not divided. To accept other gods before him is to place other images before yourself. You do not realize how much you listen to your gods, and how vigilant you are on their behalf. Yet they exist only because you honor them. Place honor where it is due, and peace will be yours. It is your inheritance from your real father. You cannot make your father, and the father you made did not make you. Honor is not due to illusions, for to honor them is to honor nothing. Yet fear is not due them either, for nothing cannot be fearful. You have chosen to fear love because of its perfect harmlessness, and because this fear you have been willing to give up your own perfect helpfulness and your own perfect help. Only at the altar of God will you find peace, and this altar is in you because God put it there. His voice still calls you to return, and he will be heard when you place no other gods before him. You can give up the god of sickness for your brothers. In fact, You would have to do so if you give him up for yourself. For if you see the God of sickness anywhere, you have accepted him. And if you accept him, you will bow down and worship him, because he was made as God's replacement. He is the belief that you can choose which God is real. Although it is clear this has nothing to do with reality, it is equally clear that it has everything to do with reality as you perceive it. Okay, so this was a very interesting thing for me to read. So, first of all, he says, you have not attacked God and you do love him. Okay, awesome. So then I feel like he was talking about, I love here that he says, wherever you go, you carry God with you. He's always within you, and he can be accepted anywhere within the sonship. And he's always accepted for all. So when you accept God, truly, the one real God we were talking about, so not God's replacement, but when you accept God, you accept him for everyone. You accept him for all. And he says here, your minds are not separate, and God has only one channel for healing because he has but one son. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's me. But that's all of us, right? We're all God's son. We're all part of the sonship. And so there's no, we're all part of God's son. We're all children of God. Although when you see it here, you may also think, okay, he only has one son, that's Jesus Christ, who's in heaven, who is God's perfect son, but we are all one with him. We're all part of God's son. So I hope that people understand that on both levels. But God's remaining communication link with all his children joins them together and them to him. I kept thinking, hey, I'm part of that communication link. So I am joined with my brothers and sisters or God's other children, and then I'm also joined with him because I'm part of that communication link. So to be aware of this is to heal them because it is awareness that no one is separate, right? We're all one, we're all connected. And so no one is sick. So to believe that a son of God is sick is to believe that God can suffer. So this is where I look at myself. I go, okay, I believe that I'm sick sometimes, right? Not like, ew, like you're sick, but right, I experience sickness. I still experience fear or separation or lack or guilt. So these are all parts of sickness. These are all symptoms of sickness. So he's going a little extreme here and saying, if you're even aware of sickness, if you even believe in sickness, then you're choosing the God of sickness as an idol rather than God. So I think that's a rough when we grow up as Christians, as non-denominational or of any denomination or Latter-day Saints or Catholics. We're taught, don't worship false idols. So he's saying right here, to even believe in sickness means that you are worshiping sickness, that you have chosen sickness instead of God. And so it's hard because we're like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I promise I don't worship sickness. It's like, okay, you're right. Though I wouldn't use that word either. I think that immediately makes you think that you're going like this to sickness or whatever. He's basically saying that as long as you experience sickness or you even see sickness, that you have chosen sickness. That doesn't mean you haven't also chosen God, right? You can't ever leave God. He's always with you. It's just you're still in a state of learning how to let go of sickness, to forgive it, to heal it, and to more truly and consistently and purely stand in your choice to honor your place as one with God. So that's how I see it. That's how I see what I'm reading. Reading this was a little like for me, but and I don't know where some of these voices come through when I read this. By the way, I'm like, wow, I've got like a really weird voice right now, but and then it was comforting to read when he says, you know, when I said my peace I give unto you, I meant it, and peace comes from God through me to you. So that's very comforting that he's offering us peace from God through him and to each of us. So, and he says right here once again, and when a brother is sick, it's because he's not asking for peace, and so he doesn't know he has it. So that means, then he says here, every son of God has the power to deny illusions everywhere in the kingdom. So if we're experiencing sickness or we see each other experiencing sickness, just know that that person is forgetting that they have the peace of God within them. And you can help them remember that they have the power to deny that illusion and to choose the kingdom. Oh man, this was what a difficult video and conversation. I just want to delete it. But I'm not going to. Anyways, so that was the God of sickness. I'm glad that's behind us. Definitely helps me come to a realization that I need to stop choosing sickness. I don't worship sickness. I don't believe in a replacement for God. Although some people might, sometimes we have resources available to us, or humans come up with these crazy ideas to play God or whatever. And, they may have been coming up with some replacements for God. And so, I want to put right here that I don't think anything or anyone could ever replace God. Certainly not in my life. I just believe that we have great tools and resources available to us that we can use to help lift each other up and more effectively and efficiently and helpfully, impactfully do our part in loving one another and keeping one another safe and communicating with one another and connecting and providing for one another. So I think that as technologies or different gifts or resources become available to us that can help us on that path and in that purpose, that those things aren't a replacement for God. They're just us acknowledging, wow, now we have even more gifts to do God's work, which is healing and blessing and joining and loving and offering love and forgiveness. So, but I don't believe in a replacement for God. I think that would be, sorry, this is about to, yes, there we go. I think that just sounds crazy. But I do believe in using technology to do those things, to connect through time and space, to bless and comfort and heal, to provide resources and those types of things. So, but I don't see it as a replacement for God. I think that sounds ridiculous. So anyways, tomorrow we have the end of sickness, and I'm going to go to sleep. It's 9:55. Got to get up in the morning tomorrow, whatever I'm saying. So I love you, and I'm really praying for a bright future for all of us. And I think some of you might already be experiencing that, and I think that that's just wonderful. And I hope that from wherever you are in time and space and whatever your awareness or your reality seems to be right now, that we can somehow help one another and love one another and know that we are one and that we belong together and that we're all going home to the same place. So I love you and I miss you. And we'll talk tomorrow. Bye.